is Johnny Olson. Greetings, friends. Welcome once again to whatever this is. As most of you know, skiing is enjoying a tremendous burst in popularity nowadays, and there are many people, however, who would love to learn to ski, but they don't have either the time or the patience or the inclination or the money. Now, money to spend years taking lessons. Well, now, in a moment, we're going to meet a man who can turn out competent skiers. He can turn out competent skiers like that. We'll meet our fabulous ski instructor as soon as we say hello to our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Nipsey Russell. Kitty Carlisle. Bill Cullen. And Peggy Cass.
It's a game.
All I can say is that we never tip the panel off to anything that's going to happen in the show. But all we did was before the show, we said, Peggy, wear slacks.
Ha ha. What are you going to do?
She doesn't know why.
That's an insult.
She wore slacks. Now let us meet our skiing expert.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Cliff Taylor.
Number two.
My name is Cliff Taylor.
Number three.
My name is Cliff Taylor.
And we're going to find out which one of these three really healthy-looking gentlemen is indeed Cliff Taylor. Here's the story. I, Cliff Taylor, am the originator of a revolutionary new way to learn to ski. I call it the graduated length method of ski instruction. And here's how it works. Instead of beginning with enormous skis that are taller than you are, you use skis that are barely 3 feet long. Then, as you progress, you increase the length of the ski. My latest innovation is an indoor ski kit which contains an instructional record, a parallel turn meter, and, believe it or not, simulated cardboard short skis. Now, begin to ski right in your own living room. Standing in the center of the skis, with feet together, bend your knees forward until your weight is balanced on the balls of your feet. 13 basic exercises await you. First, a balancing exercise. From there, you go to such things as small, quick-action foot turns, then long turns with your hips, and quick turns with your feet. The ranks of short ski aficionados have been swelled by such heretofore slope-shy celebrities as Lowell Thomas, Commander Edward Whitehead, and Jack Parr. Incredibly, you will find, as they did, that my pure parallel ski techniques will have you skiing down a mountain your very first day. Signed, Cliff Taylor. And while they rack up their skis, we'll pick up a buck or two from the sponsors and be back and play the game. Well, I hope you've kept it in mind that we have three gentlemen here, all of whom claim to be Cliff Taylor, a ski instructor who can have you skiing on your very first day of instruction. And let's start with Peggy Cass.
Yeah, what do I have to do later? Number two, who's Tom Cochran?
Former United States Olympic team member.
Thank you. Number three, what does the name Sapporo mean to you?
Olympics, 1971, 2.
Thank you. Number one, I was once told that riding on the New York subway with your knees bent was terrific exercise for skiing. Is that true?
I wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't? Well...
It's the only safe way.
Number two, what are your skis made of?
Fiberglass or metal.
Thank you. Number one, what does the word Navajo mean to you but not an Indian?
Navajo?
Yeah.
Means nothing to me.
Thank you. Number three, can you use any kind of a binding on that ski and any kind of a boot?
Yes.
I see, so that you can... number one, what goes from around your ankle and is attached to the binding? What's that for?
Arlberg strap?
What'd you say?
An Arlberg strap.
Yeah, well, do you still use a leather strap, old boy?
And from there, we're going to go down to Nipsey.
Number one, did you ever demonstrate a motorized incline on the Jack Parr show for ski training?
No, I have not.
Number two?
No.
Number three?
No.
Number one, now that the shoes worn in skiing disengage, Why is there so many broken leg accidents in skiing? Number one.
Well, sometimes the bindings don't release in time, and sometimes even if you come out, you can still hurt yourself badly.
Number two, do you function as an instructor at some ski resort?
Not anymore.
When you were active in that capacity, what was your resort?
I was at Mad River when I started teaching. That's in Vermont.
I see. Number three, are you going to the Olympics this year?
No.
Uh-huh. All right, folks, y'all can have it. That's all I want of it.
And there goes the buzzer. On cue, we go to Kitty.
Number three, what is the oldest person you've taught to ski in one day?
Me. It's gonna be.
You ski already, Peggy.
One of the oldest is Lowell Thomas.
That's all right. You don't have to say how old Mr. Thomas is. That's good enough for me. You could teach me to ski, too. Number two, who was the gentleman who started Aspen as a ski resort?
Walter Papke.
Thank you. Number one, how long do you have to do those indoor exercises before you graduate to the skis?
Well, actually, it's just a method of getting your rhythm, getting used to certain basic movements, and once you
Well,
go
how
through
long would that be? Don't
Well,
you have to develop certain muscles?
Yes, no, not really, not with this method, because it's so easy when you get on the shorter skis. There's not the friction and resistance.
Oh, thank you. Number three, that is a good question. Why are the shorter skis easier to manage?
Well, they're because they're lighter, and there's less leverage on the ski.
Oh, thank you. Number two, what do you use in ski jumping? Very long or very short?
Use a longer ski than normal.
Very long.
And finally, Big Bill Cullen.
Number three, what is a mogul?
It's a bump.
Number one, you mentioned your parallel ski technique there. Is there anything included aside from those two charts that we saw the lady on?
In the kit itself?
Yes.
Well, there's wax to make the simulated skis turn easier. There's a little pamphlet of instruction, as well as the turn indicator.
And there's no machinery or anything like that?
No, there is not. This is a demonstration.
That's what I was wondering about. Number two, no machinery in yours either?
No.
And number three, what is the telemark?
That's an old-fashioned turn, ski turn, where you put one leg ahead of the other one.
Why is it everything I know is old-fashioned?
That's a question.
As long as we're on that subject, number one, what is a mid-iron?
A mid-iron?
Yeah.
Sounds like a golfing tool.
It is, and it's an old-fashioned one, too. That's the reason I happen to know. Number two.
I'm sorry, Bill. There goes the ding-dong. No more questions. Voting time. Let's the audience and I take a look. We have to decide as to whether it's number one or number two or number three. And as you know, we pay $50 for each wrong guess, and we pay $500 if the whole thing goes out the window. And Peggy, you have to start.
Well, I'm absolutely positive. For once in my life, I'm positive. Because Tom Cochran is not an Olympic ski or ski champion, but he has skied with Mr. Taylor. And number one, Navajos are bindings. So it's got to be three.
It's got to be three, says Peggy. Let's go to Nipsey Russell.
All right, Navajos are binding, and West Indians are not, so I stick to number one.
I'm not quite sure what that means, but you got a one show in there. We go to Kitty.
Well, I went on looks alone because I don't know very much about skiing anymore. I used to. And I have my mind firmly fixed on Peggy's demonstration. So I voted for number three.
You got another three going. And Bill, how are you going to
You know, the funny thing is, I know Tommy Cochran, too, and I didn't even, when Peggy asked the question, I didn't even notice the mistake in there. But I voted for number three because he knew my old-fashioned ski turn, telemark. And he knew the mogul, too, which is a bump.
We have it almost unanimous, not quite. There's one lone holdout, that's Nipsey Russell down there. We'll see how he does. Votes are all in. Will the real Cliff Taylor please stand up, sir? Yeah! Not much of a contest, I'm afraid. Cliff, before we find out who your imposters are, I've already asked you to show us another one of your skiing innovations here. It's a motorized device on which the skier can practice his exercises as if he were actually on the slope. So if you go up and get ready for that, we'll find out who our imposters are. Number one, sir, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Ross Tompkins. I work in the advertising business in New York City.
Nice to have you with us, Ross. And number two, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Frederick Selby. I'm in investment banking with Wood Walker and Company in New York.
Good to have you here. Now, Cliff, before we turn Peggy over to you, let her see what this machine does. And keep in mind that it's noisy, so you'll have to shout. Peggy's going to do that?
The sport of skiing, Peg, is very easy. You go straight down here for speed, you bend your knees for balance. You turn your skis left and right with the lower legs like this.
Okay.
Small turns, you use your feet. Medium-sized turns, you use your knees. The biggest turns of all, you use your hips. That's how simple skiing can really be. The small skis make it even easier.
Shut it off while I get on. Listen, I only have this to say. If you wanted to get me off the show, there was an easier way than this.
Well, first thing, this is a ski machine. So
Ma.
it's a ski machine. It's a lot slipperier than snow. It takes a little training here, but we're going to give you a few minutes, a few seconds of training, all right?
Can I hold on,
no,
please?
no, you just bend your knees for balance. I'm going to control you with my foot here.
Oh, okay.
Just relax and get the natural stance for skiing is to bend your knees and stand right over your skis and don't lean forward or back. Just stand there, okay? Hands out to the side. Come on, relax.
You mean like this?
Are you relaxed now?
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Now just stop wiggling a little bit with the feet. Not too hard. Very easy, very easy, very easy. Not so fast. 1, 2, 1.
I'm going to go forward.
2, 1. Just stand up there. Now, you're too strong. Well, you must be a good skier.
I get good legs.
You're too strong. Boy, she's strong. Holy mackerel. Relax. Bend your knees for balance. Just turn the ski very easy. Relax. Very good. Very good. Make it easy.
You let her on her own without...
She's terrific. She's going to go in a minute here.
without your
Relax
foot?
now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Terrific, Peggy. Fantastic. Look at that.
Well, get your foot up, you'll see.
All right, let's go. I'm going to get control here. Okay, thank you very much.
I like to learn that move.
It's when he stops and kills you. Isn't it? Hey, you're real hot. Thank you, Cliff,
Jerry.
very much. Thank you, gentlemen, also on behalf of the Tell the Truth. Hey, you're pretty good on that, kid. Hey, there, you got that certain thing there, you know? Well, now, friends, when you go to the opera, have you ever noticed that there's a certain number of people who are standing up on that stage who are not singing note one? They're not even opening their mouths. Well, they're called supers, and they're important. And we have one with us today, and we'll be right back with that one. Now let's say hello to our opera super.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Darlene Gilbert.
Number 2.
My name is Darlene Gilbert.
Number 3.
My name is Darlene Gilbert.
All right, here is the story of Darlene Gilbert as follows. It says here, I, Darlene Gilbert, am a super at the famed Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. Super is short for supernumerary, and you can tell a super from the soloists and the chorus because we don't sing. We're there to help fill the giant stage and perform such tasks as bringing flowers for returning soldiers, or in the case of male supers, carrying the traditional spears. Number 1 is wearing a skeleton costume from the ghostly Wolf's Glen scene of Der Freischütz. When I super in this opera, I am paid only $4 because I am on stage for only 60 seconds. Number 2's costume is one worn by supers in that perennial favorite, Carmen. The pay? $7. Number 3 is dressed as one of the angels in Hansel and Gretel. This is a top-paying super job because the angels have to fly. It's a $25 job. You can't get rich being a super, but I love it. In fact, I've been a super longer than any other woman currently performing at the Met. Signed, Darlene Gilbert. And number 1, you must be terribly uncomfortable. That's the girl. Take your mask off. There's no fun sitting there with that on. Let's start with Bill Cullen, please.
Yeah, very interesting. I will start with number 1. If you only get $4 for being a skeleton for 60 seconds, does seniority keep you out of being a skeleton? Are there other jobs in der Freischütz?
No, there aren't other super jobs in Freischütz.
So if you want to perform at all while that's on, you have to be a skeleton or nothing for $4. Is that right?
Exactly.
Number 2, does seniority have anything to do with the parts you get, or are all supers paid the same in certain operas? Let's put it that way.
All supers are paid the same in certain operas.
In other words, in a Hansel and Gretel, everybody gets $25 for that job. Is that right? Number 2?
No, it isn't.
Oh.
Because you only get it if you're a flying angel.
Well, No, I've been flying. No one gave me any $25. Number 3, I asked this question then simply. You go all the way into the Metropolitan Opera House or wherever you go from your home, and you perform, you get into costume for only $4. Why do you do it?
Just because I'm opera stage struck. That's it.
Number 1.
That's a good answer, I think. And let's go to Peg.
Thank you. Number 3, do you have a union?
No.
Number 2, have you ever flown as an angel?
Oh, yes.
What kind of a harness do they use?
Well, they use a regular harness that goes all around your body, and then
Thank you. Number 1, when they do Pagliacci and Cavaliere Rusticana together, which opera requires supers?
Both.
Thank you. Number 3, how many supers, and not girls, but how many supers are used in Boris Godunov?
I don't think I was in that one.
No. But number 2, how many supers are used in Aida? Many?
quite a few.
And now number 1, in Die Frauen Schatten. Are there any supers in that?
2 female supers.
Thank you. Number 3, who's singing Electra this year?
I don't really know.
Thank you. Number 2, who's the new Tristan at the Met? Who made his debut in Tristan this year?
I've forgotten her name, but there is a new
No, the
Tristan.
Tristan, the fella.
I mean his name. Excuse me. No, I...
Number 1,
Can't
who wrote
remember.
the Wazik?
I don't know.
The Wazik. Oh. Number 3, oh, nuts. Do you have a
Why don't you
Moonlight at
keep
City
quiet?
Center?
You're a hot peg. Let's get on to Nipsey.
Number 1, does the name Lawrence Winters mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Number 2, who is the oldest performing tenor at the Met now, to your knowledge?
To mine, at the Met now,
Number 3, who is the
Don't know.
youngest performing baritone?
Gosh, I don't know.
Number 1, do supers travel or do they just perform with one opera company when it's on location in that particular town in which they live?
They just perform in the particular town in which they live.
And I guess still number 1, is there no minimum scale? Is there no minimum salary for what you're allowed to work? You can work for as little as $4 a day?
That's right, yes.
All right. Can you tell me, number 3, when you perform and as there is only one super, does that not constitute a sort of a specialty job?
No, it isn't. You're actually doing it for fun.
Okay.
For fun, the lady says, and we go to Kitty Carlisle.
I'd like to answer your question. You see, that's the reason they do it, because they love it. They all have other jobs. Number 1, what do you do when you're not supering?
I'm a professional ice skater.
Ah, you see, they do it because they love it, yes. Number 3, who is Nina Lawson?
I don't really know.
Number 1, who is Ozzy?
Ozzy's the stage manager.
And number 2, when you're on stage, who do you watch to show you what to do?
the stage director.
And where is he?
In the wings.
Ah, you get your cues from the wings. Number 3, do you never watch the conductor?
And we've got a ding-dong that conducts right out of this. It is time for us to vote. Mark your ballots, friends, as we take another look at number 1 and number 2 and number 3. And we're going to pay the $50 for each wrong vote, $500 if everybody's wrong. And Bill Cullen, have you reached a decision?
Yeah, from none of my own questions, but from Kitty's and Peggy's and Nipsey's, I did pretty well. Got a lot of don't knows.
Yeah.
And the one that was always there with a ready answer, right or wrong, I have no idea. But it was number 1. For that reason, I voted for her.
Could have been making them up, you know. We've got a 1 showing,
Yeah.
and Peg, what are you going to do?
Well, the stage manager sounded right. Ozzy is the stage manager. I mean, she said it just right off the top of her head. I think it's number 1 as well.
A pair of 1 showing. Nips, how are you going to go?
Well, we do sometimes get flustered and forget names and details and information, so it wasn't really conclusive. But when number 2 didn't know that Tristan...
Just Thomas.
Yeah, I kind of went with number 1, who seemed quite knowledgeable about opera.
All right, hey, we're going... All right, Kitty, what?
Well, I think it's number 1. I sang at the Met, and Ozzy was the mainstay of the stage.
Oh, good.
He might have told the
And
others.
also, I think she was the one who flies.
Oh, all righty. Boy, I want to tell you, you know, this week his panelists worked together as a team, right or wrong.
Yeah,
and if
right
we're
or wrong.
wrong,
Yeah,
lots
wrong.
of times. This time you may be right. The votes are all in. Will the real Darlene Gilbert please stand up? No doubt about it. Thank you, Darlene. Let's find out who your nice friends are. Number 2, what's your real name, please, and what do you do?
Vilma Jester. I'm president of a public relations firm.
Ah, nice to have you. And number 3, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Rose Pfizer. I'm the office manager for the public relations firm of Robert Taplinger Associates.
Ah.
She's been super longer than anybody. Well, she must be the only one. She couldn't have been for very long a super, could she?
How long have you been a super, actually?
I've been a super for 6 years.
So none of
because of the price. They come and go.
Oh, I see.
And they go more than they come.
That's right. I come and go, too. I go off and do a skating show, and then I come back again.
Ah, sure.
But when I go, somebody takes my place, and there's always a place waiting for me when I come back.
That's great.
Well, there ought to be. You're awful cute. Thank you, Darlene, and thank you, imposters, for being with us here on The Tell the Truth. Well, there's nothing much I can say. Nipsey, you've been a joy as always, my friend.
Thank you.
And we're going to see you again real soon, I hope.
Be a pleasure of mine.
Right-ho, my friend. And Kitty and Bill and Peggy and for me and for the whole staff, we'll see you next time. Take care now.
Our central characters today will receive an automatic blanket. Field Press Gold Crown automatically adjusts to changes in room temperature. It's washable and completely hypoallergenic. Only Field Press does it like this. Prizes or product mentions were furnished and/or paid for by the manufacturers or supplier of the products or services identified on this program. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
I'm gonna try to